Hey there, second grade scientists. What an amazing week we have had. How's your curious brain doing? I know mine is feeling awesome. We have been doing so many fun things learning about adaptations. On our first day together this week, we talked about how adaptations are characteristics of living things that help them survive in their environment. So living things are the things that grow and reproduce. Living things need four basic needs. Say them with me. Ready? Water, food, shelter and space, and air. We know that living things, when they have these four basic needs, they grow and reproduce in their life cycle. A life cycle is a series of stages and changes that a living thing goes through during its lifetime. Living things start out really small as a fetus or an egg, and then they grow into adults. Adults can reproduce and make more babies, fetuses, eggs. And what's so cool is that over time, living things, all kinds of living things, like plants, bugs, animals, birds, they all have adaptations. Because the environment is always changing, it's getting colder or drier, living things adapt so that they can stay alive. They change their characteristics, how we can describe and identify living things. They change their characteristics so that they can stay alive, so that they can still get their four basic needs. On our first day, we looked at some plant adaptations. We talked to my amazing friend, conservationist Camille, and she lives on a beautiful garden. She and her family, they work to conserve our planet. That means they work to protect plants. And she showed us that taking care of plants, it's different for every plant. Some plants need a lot of water, some don't need much water at all. Some plants even live in water. Water is one of the four basic needs, and some plants need a ton of sunlight. Some don't want much sunlight at all. These are some adaptations of plants. We know that cacti, like a cactus, or succulents, well, they have adapted to live in really dry and hot places. They've adapted, they've changed a characteristic so that they can live in a dry area, so they don't need as much water to stay alive. And then some plants that live in rainforests, well, they need a lot of water. And some plants, like water lilies, live in water. They're all plants, but they have adapted to stay alive in their environment. Same thing happens for animals, right? We talked to biologist Blake again, and biologist Blake talked about really cool lizards that their scales have adapted to live in dry areas. And some animals like bears, well, they have adapted to survive in really cold, harsh winters by hibernating. They sleep for a really long time when it's cold because they can't get food as well when it's cold. So they eat a lot, they stock up, they fill their bellies, and then they sleep all winter long when they hibernate. That is an adaptation. There are other animals like a chameleon that can change its skin to hide from predators. Or cool little stick insects that look just like a tree branch. These adaptations, they help these animals to stay alive by hiding from predators that could hurt them or filling their bellies and staying safe from the cold, cold winters. There's so many adaptations of animals, and we saw that with birds. We've even visited liddits with my mom to see all of the amazing ducks. We know that ducks' beaks are special beaks. They are adaptations that help them to filter water. And some birds have beaks that help them to catch animals and find seeds and bugs. Birds' feet are adaptations too. Some are perfect for swimming, some are perfect for grabbing things, some are perfect for sitting on tree branches. All birds have beaks and all birds have feet, but they have adapted so that their feet and beak are perfect for them to live in their environment. That's what adaptations are all about. They're so cool because living things like plants and animals, they have similar characteristics. They have similar traits, but they're different in how they have adapted to their environment. They want to stay alive. And when the environment is always changing, they find a way. They change their characteristics. They adapt. Just like on the first day when I was a little chilly, and I adapted by putting on my coat. And when I couldn't see super well, so I adapted by putting on my glasses. Adaptations help living things to get the best out of their life. That's so cool. Second grade scientists, I want you to take everything that you've learned, carry your curious brain over to Google Classroom. And I want you to find the different adaptations of some living things. Scroll through, look at the pictures, and then figure out, how has this living thing adapted? What has this living thing done to change a characteristic so that it can live in its environment? You guys are experts at living things. You know all about them, and you even know about their adaptations. I hope you have a lot of fun figuring out what the adaptation of each living thing is. And I can't wait until we're together again for some more science. Thanks for another amazing week, second grade scientists. I'll see you soon.